Love yourself. Greetings to you all. A very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I am Yaumi Chondergui, one of the faculties come admission counselor of National Child Development Council, and I have my co-host Ananti ma'am. She's also one of the faculties come admission counselor. And so today we are here for the webinar on the topic women and menstruation. So we are very fortunate to have a special guest. So before we go on with our program, I would like to welcome you all and let's look forward to a meaningful and a valuable webinar. So let me take the honor to invite our dear Ananti Vinod ma'am for the welcome speech.
Thank you so much, my dear Yomi ma'am. So I'm Anandi here. As Yomi ma'am said, I'm also faculty of National Child Development Council and also admission counselor. So I'm so happy here to have this welcome note. So a warm word of welcome to everyone as you all here to attend this webinar program, which was organized by our wellness women. So our program is the means that love yourself and be yourself. So I want to welcome Baba sir in this day and also all our senior evaluators and our senior faculties and my sweet butterflies over here. So your and our well-wishers who want to join our webinar program and they also want to benefit it from us. No? So in this day, I'm so happy to invite you all and welcome you all. And one and the most, I want to welcome our Dr. Atira ma'am. So as Sherin ma'am said, she is one of the best women who who came here to share her knowledge with us, which is for every woman. We are in this dilemma and midst of this women and this menstruations. No, so this is the most important topic. So I'm so happy, Dr. Atira ma'am. We are so glad your presence here because this is a very much needed one for every woman and also their next generations. So for those who are having their daughters, they also want to know about this. So I'm so happy, ma'am. Once again, I welcome you with a full of love and all my best wishes for you, ma'am, to conduct this webinar program. And once again, I invite you all and welcome you all for this wonderful webinar program. So thank you, Yomi, ma'am, for this wonderful chance. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ananti ma'am. Now this session, I'm handing over to our special guest, Dr. Adhira. You may have your time, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the National Child Development Council for giving an opportunity to present this topic because this topic has been in my mind for a long time. And this topic is covered in groups in the periphery, but never, as in a mass scale among the vulnerable group itself. So this National Child Development Council, since it addresses the adolescent and the children group, definitely I hope the information will be passed on to the really needed people. So with this, I want to share my slide on women and menstruation. I was I thought I'll focus more on the dilemmas and myths, but then I thought first we should know our body and physiology and what is happening during menstruation. This actually gives us more confidence on to come forward and not hide ourselves from this situation. So I want to share my slide. So actually the slide, the background, the theme itself, I made it into a colorful theme because usually the menstruation is associated with the color, right? So I thought the slide should be in more of a red color, but this is like a red color changing to orange color. That means in our mind, it should be not the fearful red color always. It should change from that fearful red color to a more confident color like orange or yellow and turn it into green in our mind. So this is, with this, I start. So first of all, we'll talk about what is menstruation. and the normal cycles, what all happens, the changes in our body. So these are the areas where changes are happening. One is in our uterine cycle, next is in our ovary, and next in our hormone levels, and also the body temperature. So this whole day, the whole period is taken as 28 days, even though it's not the calendar days we are taking 28 days, and this is divided into the first 14 days and the next 14 days. So what happens during the first 14 days? I hope the cursor is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's visible.
So this is the uterus. This is the inside of the uterus, and this is our fallopian tube, and this is the ovary, where the ovum is in the development stage. So this is the first 14 days is what we are going to explain now. In the first 14 days, the first thing we are starting off with our menstruation itself. So first 7 days, we always talk about the day. When we talk about the days, we always say it's 7 days, even though many of the women get like 4 to 8 days. So this is the blood which comes out of our body during the menstruation. So this is just not blood only. You can see that there is lining here. So there is a loss of the lining of the uterus also along with the blood. So blood and blood content, it should be said. After that, what happens? So during this phase, the menstruation phase, the ovum is just in the ovary in the very primitive form. And what about the hormone levels? The progesterone, estrogen, the LH, FSH, everything is in a very static and a very low level. And the same happens with the basal body temperature, which is also at a lower level. Next, what happens is the proliferative phase. In the proliferative phase, what happens is there is development. So after the menstrual phase, the uterus is in a continuous phase of development. So all the blood is cleared, all the lining is cleared, and now the lining starts to proliferate. So here the ovum has become a bit bigger. This is the ovum actually. You can see the eye kind of thing. So that is the ovum. So the surrounding is the follicle. So this has become bigger and bigger, and the size has increased. And next phase comes, even the hormone levels are like on the increasing level, and body temperature falls a bit during the proliferative phase. Now the main phase, it's not considered as a phase. We talk it as a day, even though it happens in 24 to 48 hours. That is ovulation. So what is ovulation is, from the follicles, the ovum is released out. So that is on the 14th day. So on the 14th day, what happens is the uterus has proliferated a bit. Some of the lining has been regained, and in the ovary, what happens is the ovum has come out of the ovum. So where is this happening in this ovary? There are so many follicles in this ovary, and one of the follicles which developed during the cycle has released the ovum. And during this day or during these hours is when the hormone levels are at this maximum. That is the FSH, the LH, estrogen, progesterone, everything has increased. So progesterone has not increased. It increases during the luteal phase only. So the main hormones during ovulation is FSH, LH, and estrogen. And the basal body temperature has risen to a higher level, like around 0.2 degrees Celsius. So next is the, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Please continue, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So next is the luteal phase. or luteal phase is usually set for the hormone levels. In the uterus, it's usually in the hormone levels and the ovary level. In the uterine level, it's called the secretory phase. Why is it called the secretory phase and the luteal phase? So this is the next 7 days, that is 14th to 20th day. Here what happens, the lining has increased its thickness, and there will be, these linings have so many glands inside it which secrete secretion, mucus secretion, or thick or fluid like secretion. So these linings start to thicken, and in the ovary, what happens? The follicle has released this ovum and has now starts releasing the hormone progesterone. That is why during the luteal phase, the progesterone level has increased so much. So the follicle starts releasing progesterone, and this progesterone is responsible for the thickening of the uterine lining, and actually is preparing the bed for the ovum if it's fertilized. Actually, if the ovum gets fertilized by the sperm in this phase, it's the bed forming phase. So next, during the end of the phase, the ovum can be happy or ovum can be sad. So if the ovum is happy, it got fertilized and the bed has been prepared, and the ovum gets implanted in the uterus and the pregnancy continues. But if there has no fertilization occurred, then the ovum with the blood and the lining all gets secreted again during the menstrual phase. So this is the whole cycle. Now I would like actually in this monotonous kind of talk will be a bit boring for everyone. So I think after each slide, I can get some few questions and doubts, and then I'll go to the next slide.
Yes, ma'am. So please, everyone can raise your doubts to ma'am, so you can clear your doubts. So no queries?
It's clear, ma'am. It's
clear.
clear.
Okay,
ma'am.
Clear, ma'am.
So this is even though this is more of a clinical level or a physiological explanation, I thought this is really needed for the audience, because understanding this will actually make us confident and aware of ourselves, what is happening during menstruation. And the process of menstruation should not be considered as a pathological or a disease kind of, or a illness kind of state. So now we will come to what are the concerns. Usually the concerns during menstruation regarding what all surrounding the menstruation and the cycle. So length between the cycle days. This is one thing. Usually it's a 28-day cycle. We have already explained. It can be plus or minus 7 days. That is 21.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Can I know who is this?
Myself, Dr. RK here. I just wanted to ask you one doubt. Once there is a fertilization, so the amount of progesterone level has to remain static till the pregnancy, right?
Yes.
So the corpus luteum continues till the pregnancy, till the delivery?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Corpus luteum secretes progesterone only till 4 months of pregnancy.
Okay. Thank you.
After that, it is taken up by the central system.
Okay, thank you.
So everyone has got the doubt what was clear right now. Actually, this luteal phase, I told that from the ovary, the progesterone is released. Even though ovum is released, the follicle has formed into a structure called corpus luteum, from which the progesterone is released. So this progesterone actually maintains our uterine bed, the lining, that bed till 4 months if fertilization has occurred. So the fertilized ovum can develop in that uterine bed. So these are the usual concerns. Thank you for the question. Next, so these are the usual concerns. So first is the length between the cycle days. The normal cycle days are like 28 days, as I told. It can be plus or minus 7 days. So that is 21 to 35. Now, what is polymenorrhea? I'm just saying some clinical words, but not to concentrate on the clinical words too much, because I put this into the slide because anyone can Google it and find out this is polymenorrhea, this is oligomenorrhea, and then they think they'll have to go on reading what it is. So to make it easier, I put it into the slide. So polymenorrhea is shorter cycles and frequent periods. That is, if it is less than 21 days cycle, it's called polymenorrhea. So those women will have increased number of periods. So usually, can anyone tell how many periods, how many menstrual cycles will happen in a year for a woman? What is the normal number of menstrual cycles which should happen in a year? Somebody has to unmute. I think Kajal Goswami. Hello.
Hello.
10.
Can everyone mute? Okay, thank you. So 10. So somebody said 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an average one. But can you tell like a range? I want a range because it's only 10 for all women. So I want a range.
10 to 12,
okay.
Or 12 to 14.
Yeah, it's 10 to 12 usually what happens. So in polymenorrhea, what happens is they may have more than 14 cycles per year. So that is to make you understand better. So more than 14 cycles a year, these women will have. Now, what is oligomenorrhea? Oligomenorrhea are longer cycles and infrequent periods. So these women have menstrual cycles more than 35 days. So that will be less than 9 cycles a year. So some people may have perceived themselves that they have lesser number of they have longer cycles or they have shorter cycles. So when there is an abnormality, when is it called an abnormality? So when a woman has 8 cycles only per year, and this has been happening for more than 3, 4, 5 years, that means it's normal for that person. So it cannot be considered as abnormal. But and the same way for more than 35 day cycles. So this is regarding the length between cycle days. Next is the blood characteristics. So blood characteristics include the blood flow also. Now we are considering one menstrual cycle only. So the other one was considering the days between the cycles. Now we are considering just one cycle. So one cycle usually lasts 6 to 7 days. This can be plus or minus 2 days. So here there are 2 conditions which can be a problem. That is menorrhagia, where there is more flow or longer period days. So more flow can be usually if a woman changes her pads 3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 times per day, and during another cycle, suddenly it changed to around 6 to 7 pads per day. So that means that something abnormal has happened. So that is regarding the flow. And it can also be longer periods. Once one person is having 4 days only, but suddenly it increased to 7 or 9 days. So that is menorrhagia. Next is hypomenorrhea. Here, it can be less flow, like the opposite of what is happening in menorrhagia. That is less flow or shorter period days. And another is the blood characteristics. And so many have noticed that all women will not have the same blood color which is coming out of the body. So it can be a bright red color. That means it's a very clear blood contents and blood contents which is coming out. On the first day, so many must have noticed that it's a very dark blood. That is because it can be a dark blood or a light blood. So why dark blood? Dark blood because some of the nutrient contents are there previously within the 24 hours and then it's getting separated. Or it could be light color. Why? Because it is combined with the mucus fluid. I mean the cervical fluid and the vaginal fluid, because ovulation and the secretory phase has happened before the menstrual phase. So all these secretions must have lightened the color of the blood. Then there can be some may have particles like big pieces, chunks coming out of the body. That is because the lining must have become so thick, or there may have been a possibility of fertilization and the bed was really thick that the lining got really thick and it got secreted. And it could be other pathological conditions also for which a doctor's consultation is needed. If it's happening, not like all the time, but like if the woman should persist that it has been happening for a few times and she has to consult a doctor. Next, other symptoms which are associated with this menstrual processes. One is pain, loss of appetite, abdominal bloating, tiredness, nausea, loose throat. So this can happen. All these symptoms can happen in a premenstrual phase or during the menstrual phase. So when this happens during the premenstrual phase, it's called premenstrual syndrome. So this usually happens in some girls and some women, and they should know, they perceive themselves that they have this problem and they should adjust themselves like with the food, water, hygiene, rest, and medication. All these things should be well prepared with. That is premenstrual. Next is during the menstruation, usually some of the cycles may be very painful, which is called dysmenorrhea. That is actually it's called dysmenorrhea when it occurs. The pain occurs out of proportion to a normal threshold. So this is because the uterus is constricting in a very, and blood vessels, everything are in a constriction phase, or what do you say, thinning out. And how do you feel when you have muscle cramps? So the same thing, uterus has muscle. So the cramps in the uterine muscle causes dysmenorrhea. It may be a previous food change, a nutritional change, or maybe you may have got dehydrated, or some chemical imbalance must have happened. If dysmenorrhea occurs, like for a woman who doesn't get pain usually. So these are the usual concerns. So anyone has anything to ask you for this?
Yes, ma'am. I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes. Your name?
My name is Vidya.
Okay.
Ma'am, this adenomyosis is a kind of menorrhagia.
It is menorrhagia is a symptom or a clinical sign. It's called a clinical sign. Menorrhagia is a clinical sign that the body shows us that there is some abnormality in our uterine or our reproductive system. So adenomyosis is a pathological condition where there is muscle deficit, like muscular, uterine muscular parts are deposited in various parts of the uterus. Uterus has three layers actually. So it can be deposited in the ovary also, in the polyp, in the fallopian tube, or in any layers of the uterus. So that is what is adenomyosis is, and menorrhagia is one of the clinical signs. And if adenomyosis occurs in the cervical part or in the cervix part or just above the cervix part, it can present as menorrhagia.
Yes, ma'am. I'm having adenomyosis. That's why I asked about this thing.
Okay, it will be very painful. Adenomyosis is usually very painful, right?
Yes, ma'am. Very painful.
Very painful, and it's a very difficult condition. And it's a very difficult condition to treat also, because how this menstruation is happening inside the uterine lining and the blood is thrown out of the body. The same process is happening. Just imagine there are some bubbles of uterus here and there, and menstruation is happening in these bubbles, and blood is getting collected in these bubbles. So this is what adenomyosis is, and it's very difficult to treat, and it's a very painful condition also. So what you consulted the doctor?
Yeah, I am consulting, ma'am. I am ongoing my treatment, but doctor told me to reduce my weight also, because to control all these things. I have PCOD along with this adenomyosis. So doctor told me to control my weight. My uterus, it's filled with some lump kind of things. That she have shown me the image of the scan.
Usually, it will end up with surgery only, adenomyosis. But some other conditions can be treated otherwise. What happens is, as aging happens, the uterus becomes, thinner and thinner. So then, and the process also gets a bit delayed. So then the symptoms can reduce. So one thing which you should take care is never allow any infections to occur. Like always be careful about urinary tract infection, the vaginal infection, or an outside pelvic skin infection, or any rectal or deworming should be done. Any anal surrounding area, all the pelvic areas should be hygienic, kept in a very hygienic manner.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So can I continue with the next?
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the what do you say, hidden factor or a silent killer is there in this whole process. So I'll explain it. That is, can anyone guess what is the average number of menses in a woman's lifetime? So one men's, we told how many menses happens in a year. That is 10 to 12. So in a woman's lifetime, so average life expectancy, we are taking it as 60. And how many menstrual cycles will happen in a woman's lifetime? Anyone, like fact reading persons are there? Then the very interesting fact to read.
700 to 750 approximately.
That's too much. No, I think it's not that much. It's not that much. Nobody has read. I think even I got curious to know what is like in a woman's women's lifetime, how many menses will happen. So it is said to be around 400 to 450. So that is an average number. Just imagine 400 to 450 times the woman is having menstrual cycle. That too, how many days lasting? Some may be 5 days, some may be 7 days, or some may be 4 days. So just imagine how many days they are menstruating. So and another question is average blood during one menstrual cycle. Can anyone imagine? So I'm just boasting about how many menstrual cycles are happening in a lifetime. But when you consider the average blood, you may be thinking, oh, it's only this much. So can anyone guess average blood during one menstrual cycle? Just guess. Just say some value. Nobody guessing. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Guessing is very difficult to everyone, no? So now only they will be thinking now.
Yeah. But still, anyone? Okay, I'll tell you. Maybe in milliliters only. Don't think about liters. Huh?
10 to 50 ml.
10 to 50 ml is a very large range, but you are close by. It's around 50 to 60 ml.
Okay.
So that is the average blood during one menstrual cycle. So I told all this because to have this calculation in your mind that how much of blood is lost, how much of physiological changes are happening during the women's lifetime, the menstruating lifetime. So when we consider the blood loss, this is actually a state of chronic blood loss and blood content. We may have episodes of acute blood loss. When do we have acute blood loss? Like accidents, surgeries, blood losing disease. But this is like a silent killer. It can, it's like a chronic blood loss state, and we have to always compensate and keep our body prepared for this situation. So another three situations where this crisis is exaggerated, like the blood loss or the reduced hemoglobin and RBC state is exaggerated, are pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum, that is after childbirth. So all these periods we remember to take iron tablets, have iron-rich foods, but never do we think about having iron-rich foods and iron supplementation before our menstruation. Iron supplementation is always not needed. We can adjust our diet, increase the iron content. There are foods rich in iron content which can be consumed before our menstruation, so that we get prepared for our loss. So I'll tell this slide also, and then you can ask me doubts. So this was an interesting cartoon which I got from the web. Thanks for the web. It's from the Google Images. So one RBC is so tired and is thinking that, I'll show the cursor. This is the RBC, okay. This is the red blood cell. So this red blood cell is very tired. And it's thinking this place was a metropolis before the iron shortage. So there's all around there is iron shortage, and it's very tired, and then it reaches our board.
Can you please share your screen, ma'am? Please, we can't see it.
Shared only. Nobody can see.
Yes, we are seeing the screen, ma'am.
It's
Visible, it is visible now.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay now. Thank you.
So then this RBC is going and asking our bone. Bone is a reservoir of hemoglobin and red blood cells. So this RBC is going and asking the bone. So then the bone is rationing the hemoglobin. Okay, so the bones had to ration the hemoglobin, and red blood cells are no good without hemoglobin. So the bone is saying, sorry kids, that's it. We don't have enough RBCs to help you out, or the hemoglobin is not enough even with us. Then this RBC is thinking the great iron famine led to the age of anemia. So then there are some survivors of this crisis situation. So they come and say, we are the survivors, we are, and they say, hey, look, like they made some diet changes up top, we're all good now. And this RBC is like, oh, that's very, like, thinking, yeah, what a change has happened. And okay, so this is a cartoon. Actually, it's a very simple thing which has been, this where the situation has been explained. So what happens is after maybe we are menstruating, menarche happens at 12 years of age or 13 years of age. During like the recent times, the age has decreased. The menarche age is, menarche means start of menstruation has decreased to 12 years and 11 years and all. So the cycles have actually increased. And after like around half our lifetime, this will be the situation. The deserted RBCs will be here and there, running around for hemoglobin, and we will be deoxygenated or without oxygen, and there will be aging will happen very fast. Our cells will get die very easily. So we all, if we want to nourish ourselves, keep ourselves healthy, have a happy aging, have a happy old age, we should be thinking of a diet change diet change, and also our perception, a change in a perception and outlook towards menstruation. So any doubt?
No.
So anyone, can anyone tell me which are the iron rich? I just blindly said there are like iron rich foods you can consume, and this actually happens in all kind of like we have this notion that everyone, our audience knows the iron rich foods, and we just go on saying. So anyone can specifically say that which are the iron rich foods?
The pomegranate, fruits like pomegranate.
But it is rarely available. No, I have never eaten a pomegranate for a long time.
Spinach.
Yes.
Spinach.
Yes.
Spinach. Also, I think this one, moringa leaves.
Yes. Drumstick leaves and drumstick is. Drumstick leaves are more content. Then
and, there is a prunes and dates. Prunes and dates.
Yes. Then beetroot usually actually they say that there is an effect on the blood vessel, but as such iron rich or not is not confirmed, not sure. But then there is this everyone missed one thing, that is our ragi. For not the south part, maybe even south part we have ragi these days. And it's there in the ICDS program also for adolescents. So ragi is very rich in iron and calcium, and also there is jaggery, both the palm jaggery and the normal jaggery. So all these are very iron rich, which is easily available also. Now I'm going to another completely another aspect of this menstruation. We explain all the physiological, pathological changes which are happening in our body, but now we are actually concentrating on the social aspect. That is, what are the myths associated with menstruation? So can anyone say, do you have any, like all of you must have had some experience or must have thought about or perceived some good or bad experience during the menstruation or regarding menstruation, something menstruation related. one myth or one story. It must be handed over to you from from generations old. So can anyone share? Can not anyone? One person each share. Maybe we'll have some 5-6 points.
Yeah, what ma'am I have heard was like during very olden days, my mother used to tell me, don't go near a plant. It will get wilted with our body temperature like that. I have heard in my childhood, but now it's not like that, ma'am.
Yes, that is one thing. We should not touch plants. We should not touch new things, new clothes or new things. We should not get into the kitchen. We should not touch prepared food. Then we should not go near men. So then, anything else?
Like don't wash your hair during period, something.
Really, I've never heard that. That's a new thing.
And don't pull water from well like that.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
take the water.
I've one thing which was carried on carried on to me was I first 2 days it's very difficult to take bath.
Yes.
But this maybe the body temperature reduces a bit. Maybe that is why we are not able to take bath. That is one of the reasons I'm thinking, but I don't know what about you or how you have felt. But hygiene is very important during the period time, the menstrual time. So taking if not a body wash, you should take at least a pelvic wash. Then any other myth?
Dates should not be eaten. Date नहीं खाने चाहिए. Dry dates should not eat during the periods.
Oh yeah. That is one of the things. That is food restrictions. So many food restrictions are there. One is they say as you said, dates. Actually, these should be consumed during these periods, and also before this menstruation happens. Another is tamarind. Then some others. Can anyone contribute some other foods which are restricted or which should not be consumed?
Too much of sugary things.
Okay.
And like that, like chicken, non-veg items.
Yes, non-veg items. Okay.
Ma'am, I have got one doubt, please.
Yes.
During this periods time, what about the role of coitus during periods?
Yes, that is a very important. I'm actually coming to that in the next slide. It is said that it is restricted. The coitus should be restricted. All sexual and reproductive matters are actually not even in the conversation during the menstrual time. So that is what has been passed on from generation. It is actually scientifically there. It can be explained. That is, orgasms actually are good for reducing the pain. So many studies I've read through. It says that orgasms are good to reduce the pain, but not too much, because there is a retrograde movement during these this phenomenon, and there can be a retrograde movement of the blood. And as one of our audience have, blood can spill from the fallopian tube to the ovary and cause PCOD, and also other pathological conditions like adenomyosis. So coitus is usually
endometriosis.
And endometriosis. So this coitus is usually restricted during the high flow period. That is the first 3 days.
Thank you.
Anything else? So now you have shared some of your thoughts. So I'll explain what all I'll summarize in what all we have like compiled. One is the taboos are, one is movement. Usually the girl or the woman or the lady should not move out of the room, or move to the their movement to the kitchen or near the front of the room, or the sitting room, or near the plants, and all these movements are restricted. But these kind of actually studies say that exercise is really important. Exercise means not heavy exercise, but mild kind of exercise. So these movements should not be restricted. Mild movements are important to reduce the pain. Next is clothing. Clothing is a very, very, tricky matter during the menstruation. One is one of the studies which I read, it says that the clothing, even the pants, usually have at least one drop of blood. Even though whatever care you take, whatever kind of pad you wear, whatever kind of menstrual product you use, usually they have at least one drop of blood. So usually when we go out to work or school or any social functions, we usually have to wear a dark colored dress. And this is very difficult, especially during the very hot climate. So in the hot climate, we are wearing this dark dress to avoid our shine, to avoid our shyness of getting our dresses stained. And also we get sweat, we get heated up, we get cranky. I think everyone has experienced that cranky also. So we get irritated.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have one more doubt.
One second. Can I finish this? And
oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is regarding the clothing. Next is food. Food, as we talked, so many foods have been restricted. But this is actually should be perceived by each person, because premenstrual syndrome doesn't occur in all women. Some women only happen. So there should be an observation over the menstrual cycle period. What is happening? Maybe the food you consume, or the amount of water you consume, or any other new thing which has been introduced in your nutrition. So all this can be observed by each person, and then accordingly titrated during the next cycle. So this actually helps to prevent or to reduce the premenstrual syndrome or dysmenorrhea which happens, or whatever discomfort. Maybe the blotting up can be reduced by reduced consumption of gas forming food, like all this proteinaceous food in large quantities, like what you said. It has a scientific reason that chicken is actually chicken may not, if not cooked properly, may not get digested. So this may cause bloating up and also abdominal distension and discomfort. So like that, you can titrate your food nutritional components and decrease our symptoms. Next is this is a very, very unscientific thing which I have felt, that is conversation. We are actually so many. It's usually seen in the rural areas even now, but urban areas have the girls and ladies and everyone has come out, and even the men has got involved. Like how one of our audience is asking, keeping on asking questions, like have become actively involved in managing and supporting the menstruation. So what I meant was, so many women are restricted from talking to men, and they don't talk out their problems. So last time during the menstrual day, the theme was speak up, let's talk about menstruation. So all this campaign has been happening, and we have to what do you say? Get them also understand that this is not a taboo to talk out their problems and correct it, so that they can also lead a healthy life and have a healthy menstrual time. Now, next is the impure feeling. So this impure feeling, earlier, even the support from men was not, or the other gender, men was not there. And this feeling of impure, that the lady is impure during the menstrual phase has increased. So, but during these days, this perception has decreased, and the women are coming forward and saying that this is evident from the recent events which have happened in Kerala regarding the temple entry. So, so this kind of actually that impure feeling, or it should not make the ladies withdraw from the society. That is all. But forcing oneself forward is not what is meant. But withdrawal from social events, withdrawal from workplace, backlog in the academic or work, whatever they have to do, or school and workplace absence or dropouts, these should not happen just because they feel impure. So this should be made understood to the girls or the new generation, and we should make them come forward. So what was the doubt?
Yeah, ma'am, thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt you in between. Yeah, two things. One thing regarding this temple entry and all those things, that is not because they consider women as a taboo person when
No,
they
no,
have
that
periods.
is not associated with impure feeling. That is not what I meant.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct
it is
you
about
the perceive,
women,
yeah.
Yeah, the women have started perceiving that it should not.
The society perceives in a different way. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just curious to know, like somebody in the panel was asking about the hygiene and all those things. So the recommendation of usage of tampons and pads, which is the best modality to be adhered when you have a period? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So tampons are not usually recommended these days because there has been incidents of toxic shock syndrome. So what is toxic shock syndrome is suddenly the women develop a fever kind of episode, and that is because of sudden entry of this bacterial and the toxic materials from the blood products, and suddenly the women may go through a seizure episode or a unconscious episode. So such kind of happenings have happened. So many are restricting themselves from using tampons, and other menstrual products are there. Usually everyone is using the disposable kind of pads, because one thing with disposable pads is it's easily available and easy to use, and nobody means most of them doesn't think of how to dispose these pads, because one thing is there may not be even though they think that they have to dispose it in a very scientific manner, there may not be a way to or a facility to dispose it. So that is about disposable pads. But now recently it has come up, the newer versions have come up, which I'm coming to. That is so next is our menstrual hygiene. That will be covered. From the question, I understood it's about the menstrual products recommendation. So this will come in the next slide. So menstrual hygiene is a very important thing. So menstrual hygiene is improving one's withdrawal behavior during this time. So the woman or the child may withdraw herself from school or academic work or social functions and or workplace, and they may shy away. So all this happens because they need a push. They need to know that they are clean. And somebody or the elders should support them and increase their confidence to make themselves clean. So these are some of the, usually menstrual hygiene day is observed on 28th May. This is from 2021 poster which I took. 28th May is the day. So this day is observed to remind all women that hygiene is very important. Hygiene is very important in our day-to-day life. So menstrual hygiene has to be an added component in the women's life. So these are the things which have to be done. That is, change sanitary napkin every 4 to 6 hours. Wash your undergarments properly. Keep yourself clean. Wear clean and dry undergarments. Discard. Use sanitary napkins properly. So in addition, what all factors will come in menstrual hygiene? In addition to all these factors, any contribution? Hello?
Hi, madam. Thank you for your explanation on that.
No, it's coming, your question, I understood, sir. It's coming in the next slide about the product.
Okay, thank you.
I can't hear. Who is it?
Limit the usage of public toilet.
Yes, that is very important. Limit or when you do limits is one thing. Another is even if we use it in a very clean manner, which so that we don't get infected and others also don't get infected. Next, anything? Everyone is working people, no? Working persons, right? So what is happening in offices? Who go to office? Any new methods of disposal or any new methods you have found out to maintain the menstrual hygiene?
Menstrual cup is good for hygiene.
Okay, that is true. Anything else? Okay. So next is about the products. So menstrual products, the choice is very important. The choice of menstrual products, when we consider that, it should consider both the personal well-being as well as the social well-being. What do I mean by personal well-being? We know that we should be comfortable in using whatever menstrual product we have chosen, and also social well-being. What is meant is it should be environment friendly. It should not cause infection to others or cause a discomfort to others also. So it's both ways it's important because this gives us an edge towards being confident. Next is that is what I told, that is environment friendly, less waste generating, accessible, ease of use are the key considerations of the choice. Now some of the newer menstrual products which have come up in the market is cloth pads, menstrual cups, and menstrual cups. So there has been a resistance to some of these newer choices, and this is because of lack of knowledge on the product. So as our audience, one of the sir has asked, what is the recommendation? So I think we have to change from disposable pads to one of the reusable, environment friendly and less waste generating kind of choice. And what I want to say is acceptance always lies within oneself. If we want to change, only we can actually what do you say? Only we should think that we want a change. So acceptance of the change lies within oneself and one's understanding. So you should understand how the product is used. You may think, okay, this product, just blindly say, okay, this product is not good, just because you are not, you're lazy enough to use that product. But that is not the way. If you understand how to use the product properly, and maybe there will be discomfort. Always when there is a change, okay, I am taking an example of the climate. When there is a change in the climate, you may not get adjusted with the rainy season. Okay, the rainy season has come. First 2 days we may not get adjusted, but after that we get adjusted with the rain. So that's how always changes. There will be initial discomfort, but after that it's useful for both ourselves and the society. So any questions regarding menstrual products?
Ma'am, will you say the mandatory, the interval of changing the pads, the period, the time?
Yes. 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
But it depends on the flow. Some women don't have much flow even during the first and the second day, and need to change only 2 times or 3 times.
Okay.
But never go beyond 24 hours.
Thank you.
And one of the things which I can recommend is I use cloth pads, and if I don't know about menstrual cup, but everyone, I have acquaintances who use the menstrual cup, and menstrual cup is also very compatible, they are saying, and very user friendly. And so maybe a trial or during one of the menstrual cycles with the cloth pad or menstrual cup will help in changing the product. And also there have been national programs to aid in the menstrual hygiene, to maintain or sustain our menstrual hygiene. That is, one is through National Health Mission. We have menstrual hygiene program, through which sanitary napkins are provided to rural girls, and also they also give advices and in napkin making, and they make a living out of napkin making also, and make it economical for the girls. So if there are no other questions regarding menstrual products, can I move forward? Have I exceeded the time?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You can take your time, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the takeaway messages. So I had a very good audience, very receptive, and very active, proactively asking questions and doubts, and very happy to have had this opportunity. Now, these are the takeaway messages which everyone should keep in mind. That is, knowing your menstruation and your body responses. So I've explained the physiological process. So it is very important to know how menstruation happens and what all happens during our menstruation and how the body responds to it. Next is supplementing your body loss timely. That I've already told that to prevent, prevention is always better than cure, right? So this is true for menstruation also. Prevent our loss during menstruation, like we should be ready in hand. change in the nutritional changes, dehydration should be corrected, then a supplementation if it's needed should be given. All these changes should be made before menstruation happens. So supplementing your body loss timely and taking precautions to fight the loss and also the symptoms, because it shouldn't be like okay. Usually the feeling of the women is like, oh, after 5 days it's my menstruation. Oh God, I cannot take it anymore. But it should, that from that feeling, it should change to, oh, after 5 days I have my menstruation. I don't know. I think this time it will be better. It will be of less pain. That is the emotional or the that change which should happen in your mind. That perception should all change. Next is, myths are not just myths, which have scientific explanations. So we already explained what all are the myths. So and in that we categorize them into which had scientific explanations and which did not have scientific explanations. So we can actually take those myths and accept and titrate it and personalize and customize it for ourselves. And move forward. Next is building confidence to put yourself forward, breaking all the barriers. Pass on the life lessons and experiences which pushes the new generation forward. So it's not only our perception after, okay, we understand or everything and keep it in our mind, that doesn't help the newer generation. So the newer generation, even if it's our daughter or neighbor or daughter's friends or like whoever it is, our society, the girls in our society, everyone should know about these factors. So one thing which I missed, that is during my talk, I didn't miss it actually. I wanted someone to say about it. So one is about menstrual equity. So anyone knows what menstrual equity? Have anyone read about menstrual equity?
Yes, we need to make sure others are also aware. The genders have to be aware. Both male and female have to be aware about all these physiological changes.
That is one of the things. That is, informing the other gender of this physiological phenomena is very important so that we get the adequate support we need.
Yes, last time I didn't know.
Not only other genders. Equity means we have to it should be considering the gender aspect. It should be considering the societal aspect, the rural-urban differences. All these factors should be considered, and the message should be passed on, and support should be given equitably. That is, without any. So this was one of the posters which I made for Menstrual Hygiene Day to propagate the message, that is, speak up and speak for yourself and let others also speak for themselves. And this is the hand showing the gender equity, that is menstrual hand holding, and the youth rejoicing during menstruation without any gender differences. So this was one of the posters which I made to propagate the message. And so everyone, happy menstruation and happy aging. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. For me, only one thing I want to ask, ma'am. For us, Manaki, like the girls that any girls who are going to Manaki, for them, if you want to say any advices to their parents to take care of them, if any particular things to take care of their health or anything you want to share with us, you share few words, useful for us and others.
Actually, Menaki is always a matter of concern for the mothers who have daughters. So the mothers usually know only what they have got from their mothers, the messages which they have got from their mothers or from experiences, or maybe through reading. So some of the things which I want to highlight is don't get stressed because your daughter is getting menarche. So the mothers should be relaxed, because this is a normal physiological phenomenon, and if the mothers are stress-free, only the daughters will get stress-free and understand the situation. It's a normal physiological phenomenon. And maybe they don't need to know in detail what is happening in the uterus and the ovary and all, but that through the like studies after like 2 years, 1 year or 2 years, they may learn that. But building their confidence, they'll be very scared. The daughters will be really scared. One day blood is coming out of somewhere, even they don't know what the part is. So blood is coming out of somewhere and don't know what to do. Mother is also not saying, she's also shying away, don't know what to say to the daughter. So that should not be the situation. It should be a hand holding. That is, the mother should explain, this has happened to me also, maybe this age this has happened, explain it properly, what all is happening, through where it's happening, and what all were done for her. Maybe there'll be a stark change from the nutritional aspect or some other aspects, but that over the years they'll learn. But building the confidence, making them de-stressed, and pushing them forward without shying away is very important. That is one thing which is always lacking, which I have seen. The mothers may be very knowledgeable. They may have gone through everything. They may have experience, but they don't want to share it with the child. They don't know how to converse with the child, because they think that they are still a baby. So they don't know what to say. So one thing which can is they can organize the content, what they want to say, tell their daughter. Maybe they can say, okay, this age I have got, even I have got, or your grandmothers have got, your friends may have got, we don't know, friends may have got bleeding, and it is not a matter of concern. You may have to take care of the nutrition, the hygiene, and you may be tired. You may have to speak up your problems and then correct the discomfort. Don't go for like specific aspects of menstruation during the menarche.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. So thank you, sir. So you're sharing one poster also. Thank you so much for sharing that. So Yomi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We can go for vote of thanks, no?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so I hope no one has no queries. So shall we move on to next thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So yes, ma'am. So we can go for our last session, as a vote of thanks. So respected ladies and gentlemen, so you are, it's given me an immense pleasure to deliver this vote of thanks in this event, because you all assembled here to know a valuable thing. It's not that only for women's and only for women's, not like that. So this is one of the most important and valuable thing which we all know in this moment. So I would like to thank ma'am, Dr. Atira ma'am, who is a medical officer and health service and independent public health consultant, who gave her presence in this time in her busy schedule, because you have cleared all the clinical doubts also, ma'am. Clinical doubts and myths related doubts, and what all the diet we should not do. So it's a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you for your knowledge you have given to us. Thank you so much for that. And on behalf of NCDC and now our students who are here and our trained teachers and the well wishers, so inquiries. So many in a live page, many of them were seeing. For everyone, I'm going to thank in this wonderful moment, and also the sir who has shared this posters and has many doubts. That also is very useful to us. Thank you so for that also. So I'm glad to express my thanks once again, because this is a very true advice and benefit which has been benefited us. So I want to say a quote like, a moment of difference makes a difference in our attitude. So in this moment, we can change some differences, have some differences, and also in our attitude, we have some differences. So thank you once again for this wonderful webinar session. You have joined all here. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Yes, Yumi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much, Ananti ma'am, and Atira ma'am, and all the participants here. You have made this webinar a grand success. Thank you so much. So have a great evening. Bye.
Bye all. So we can wind up.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.